Would like to lead off today's video by asking my audience a philosophical question. If you had a choice, if you were building a football team, would you rather have a football team full of guys who tried to model their behavior after Walter Payton? Or would you rather have a group of guys that wanted to behave like Randy Moss? Now, I know, to be fair, not everybody in my audience keeps up with the NFL, but Walter Payton is widely regarded as the greatest running back that ever played the game. Chicago Bears, 1985, very well-known Super Bowl run, only lost one game. Randy Moss, for the Vikings and the Raiders, was known as one of those wide receivers that came into the NFL with an incredible amount of natural God-given ability and talent, but was a whiner and was lazy and would point fingers at everybody else but himself, including his teammates, and never could ever really be part of the team. If he wasn't going to be the one who caught the fingertip catch at the end of the game to win it all, he was just going to take the plays off. He wouldn't block. He wouldn't listen to coaches. And his time in the NFL was much less than what it should have been. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Well, there's something going on right now out there that there's a perfect analogy for, and I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about already. Let's get this out of the way real quick. I want to say thank you. I want to be diligent every day. Say thank you to everyone who continues to join us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. I know I have been promising a video tonight, tomorrow for sure. If not tonight, we're going to have one. We're going to break down survival going forward, both men and women, the right mindset, what you have to look for in other people, and the warning signs that you should keep a lookout for. That's what we're going to focus on, because we're getting real close to this default date, and a lot of people are saying, well, we're not going to default, Maquis. They've already said they're going to do something. Just getting this close to defaulting on the debt is going to have an effect on the economy and attitudes around the world. But real quick, $1 per month, even less if you sign up for an entire year, fully refundable. First 90 days, gloves off. Why? Of course, Vimeo. It's a private server. You can't just get into it and look at whatever, so the AI has no effect on it. The censors don't apply over there. So, once again, would love to have you. God bless everyone who has been over there, who is still over there. You guys are making a huge difference. God bless you. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to jump back in time here real quick. Way back to 3 September 2015. Donald Trump signs RNC loyalty pledge. This was way back when he was running for president, and there was all of these other Republican candidates, all of these other guys on the team that were attempting to win against Hillary Clinton. A lot of people thought Hillary Clinton couldn't be beaten because she was getting support of Barack Obama and his endorsement and all that. And so there were a lot of folks out there that were all going to be a better choice. Every single one of those people on that Republican debate stage was going to be a better choice than Hillary Clinton, for sure. Well, Donald Trump said, I'm not going to get my, support behind anyone other than me. In fact, if the Republicans don't nominate me by name, I'm going to probably run as a third party, or I'm just going to sit out or take my supporters and go elsewhere and hand the election to Hillary Clinton. So they said, look, if you want to be on the debate stage, Mr. Trump, you need to sign this pledge. So he made a really big deal of signing this pledge. And the pledge said two things. Let's go down to there. He said, I, Donald Trump, affirm that if I do not win the 2016 Republican nomination for President of the United States, I will endorse the 2016 Republican presidential nominee, regardless of who it is. The pledge continues, I further pledge that I will not seek to run as an independent or write-in candidate, nor will I seek or accept the nomination for president of any other party. Now, infamously, he reneged on this pledge. He went on CNN after it got down to just him and Ted Cruz and said that he would clearly not support Ted Cruz or endorse him. So there's that. Now, let's look at this in the context of Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. Do you think Ron DeSantis would be a team player? Would he get behind whoever the better choice than Joe Biden is? Whoever gets chosen, of course he would, even if it was Donald Trump. See, to this day, Ron DeSantis has not said one negative thing anywhere to anyone about Donald Trump, ever, even though being mercilessly attacked by the man. And he hasn't even announced that he's running for president. It was other people. You have to remember this. It was other people all around this country, both on the left and the right, that have put him in this position, Governor DeSantis. He hasn't announced. And here's the part that gives me the idea for the analogy, because of something that happened not only in Kentucky, but here in Florida. Now, take a step back at what Donald Trump actually says here. Wow, in a big upset, the sanctimonious-backed Republican candidate for mayor of Jacksonville, Florida, lost. This is a shocker. Now, pay attention. If they would have asked me to endorse, I would have, and he would have won easily. But they were too proud to do so, fools. This is a big loss for the Republican Party. Remember, I don't know who to talk about Rob is. Rob only won because of me. Now, here is the Jacksonville mayor's race results. Daniel Davis lost by about 10,000 votes in a city of 1 million. Just to give you an example, a city of over a million people. He lost by 10,000 votes. If the goal is to advance conservatism, if the goal is to keep Democrats out of power all across the country, why wouldn't Donald Trump have just gone ahead and endorsed Daniel Davis? Why? Why would he not have done that? If the team goal is to take Democrats out of power all across this country, why, most populous state in Florida, why wouldn't Donald Trump said, okay, well, Daniel Davis, he was endorsed by Ron DeSantis. He's the conservative candidate. He's a conservative. He's not part of the Democrat Party. He's not part of the Democrat machine. I'm going to endorse him too. Even though Daniel Davis asked Ron DeSantis before me for the endorsement, we all need to be on the same team. We need to keep pushing in the same direction toward conservatism. And Daniel Davis is a dyed-in-the-wool conservative. Way better than TV newscaster Donna Deegan. So a lot of people say, well, he's probably a rhino. Well, wait a minute. He can't be a rhino. You know why? Because Donald Trump says if they would have asked him to endorse, he says he would have. And then he would have won. So Donald Trump saying, I would have endorsed the guy if they would have come to me, hat in hand, on their knees, and begged for my endorsement. Does that sound like somebody you want to have on your football team? I mean, dead serious. The analogy here fits perfectly. Donald Trump's all about Donald Trump. Randy Moss is all about Randy Moss. If it wasn't all about Randy Moss that day, then he was taking the day off, just like Donald Trump just did here in Florida. Took the day off. Wasn't about moving the team down the field. Walter Payton was asked to play quarterback once. He was even asked to punt a couple of times. Can you imagine being the greatest running back ever and the coach saying, we need you to punt. Go out there and kick the football. Instead of giving him another chance to run the ball and get the first down, we need you to kick it. Kicker, Walter, could you do that for us? And he did. He absolutely did. He did what he was asked to. He's part of a team. Part of a group going forward. And if you're saying, well, the entire Republican Party, is against moving forward for the American people, then you have to stop using the term rhino, don't you? Because if everybody in the Republican Party is the enemy, and Donald Trump is not, then calling somebody a rhino, that would be what you would want. Wouldn't it be? I mean, Republican in name only, if all the Republicans are bad. Or it's the uniparty, like you're saying, that everybody who disagrees with Donald Trump's all part of the establishment. You see, this is what they brought up in this RNC loyalty pledge. It was a great point to bring up that when he signed this pledge to the RNC, it was a problem for a lot of his supporters. But if Trump's official declaration of allegiance to the party serves to calm the nerves of establishment Republicans, at least for now, it could also invite backlash from some of the bombastic candidates' diehard supporters. Trump has propelled himself to the top of the polls by casting himself as anti-establishment, outsider candidate, railing against career politicians and the Washington political class, which leads us to the next point. Kentucky. See, Donald Trump's having this wonderful heyday talking about how the candidate that he backed won, and the candidate that was endorsed by Ron DeSantis didn't. The woman on the left was endorsed by Ron DeSantis, and she lost to the guy Cameron on the right. What they don't tell you, though, is that the person on the left was Donald Trump's ambassador to Canada and then got promoted by Donald Trump to ambassador to the UN. Who did Donald Trump endorse? This guy on the right? He was legal counsel to a guy named Judge Tatenhove, who was also the legal counsel to Mitch McConnell. See, this is one of Mitch McConnell's lackeys. This guy is as establishment Republican as you get. Oh, and by the way, this woman here, married to a guy that gave Trump $750,000, a billionaire coal guy out of Kentucky. Kelly Craft, married to Joseph Kraft. They gave Donald Trump in 2016 $750,000 to finance his campaign, which is kind of odd given that a billionaire needs other people's money. And they gave that to him not just out of the kindness of their heart, but for another reason. You see, they wanted to keep Ryan in place, and they wanted to keep, I believe it was Mitch McConnell in place as well. I'll give you this article and you can read it. Billionaire couple showered GOP with money. They now need a coronavirus lifeline. You see, they got a whole bunch of perks from Trump too. They got coal reclassified as a necessary business, as a critical business, so that they could keep up and running. Let's see if I can find this here. They had lost a bunch of money. She had to recuse herself. Yeah, Inhofe and Steve Daines got contributions along with Trump. I mean, it was one of the most, having contributed a colossal combined gift of $721,200 to the Trump Victory Fund Political Action Committee at the end of 2019, the Crafts not sorry that they didn't hold on to this money because it ended up blowback in the face. So Trump talks about, oh, Ron DeSantis isn't loyal. I put Ron DeSantis in place, and now he's not being loyal. This was his own ambassador, the woman on the left. Husband gave $750,000 to him for his campaign. And he ends up endorsing this guy, one of Mitch McConnell's lackeys. Talk about a lack of loyalty. Look up Cameron. Look up his history, how he got to be where he is. And look up where she comes from. You see, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong here, that the goal was to get Democrats out of power. To get the Democratic Party out of positions of power wherever. And if all Donald Trump, of his own admission, would have had to do was step in and say, I'm not sure that just the governor's endorsement is going to get Daniel Davis over the finish line. Let's all come together as a team and get this. That would have been no skin off his nose. Let's come together and let's get the team across that goal line. Let's get that extra touchdown, extra field goal. Give us that padding for the win there at the end. But did he do? No. It was more important to Donald Trump to make Ron DeSantis look bad because of 2024. Name one other reason When Donald Trump even says, and I'll say it a third time, Donald Trump didn't have any problem with Daniel Davis. He said if they would have asked me to endorse, he would have. So Donald Trump said he had no problem with Daniel Davis. Too proud to do so. The only reason he didn't do it was to stick his thumb in the eye of Ron DeSantis, who hasn't even declared that he's running for president yet, hasn't said one negative word about Donald Trump. I defy anyone. I defy anyone out there to go find anything Governor DeSantis has ever said that could even possibly be construed. And speaking of that, this was from 2019, 21 August. Now imagine if this saying Donald Trump, this was Governor Ron DeSantis. In fact, I'm going to put Governor DeSantis' name in here so that you can hear it. Thank you to Wayne Allen Root for the very nice words. Governor DeSantis is the greatest president for Jews and Israel in the history of the world. Not just America. He's the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people in Israel love him. He's like the king of Israel. They love him. He is like the second coming of God, but American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't even know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he's good for all Jews, blacks, gays, everyone. And importantly, he's good for everyone in America who wants a job. Wow. Now, if anyone had said that about Governor DeSantis, there would be people all over this platform, all over the other platforms, just blasting it everywhere. But this wasn't said about Governor DeSantis. This was Wayne Allen Root talking about Donald Trump back in 2019. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it came out that some billionaire had gotten some favors from Governor DeSantis and gave him $750,000? Anti-establishment candidate? My ass. If Governor DeSantis had endorsed somebody who was a lackey of Mitch McConnell, or had refused to endorse somebody just to make another Republican that he's in some kind of a contest with look bad, and then handing the race to a Democrat, you would forgive this. I'm sorry, but this, you ask me, I was on a football team for a long time. I don't care if we went 5-5. I want team players. I don't care if I said, what, if you put this other guy on the team, you might be 8-2 next year. I'm sorry. Not somebody like that. Not somebody that's going to take plays off. Not somebody that's going to make it all about them and point fingers at people on their own team when everything doesn't go right in public. I want Walter Paytons. Who do you want? You want Randy Mosses? You want Randy Mosses? You gonna sacrifice? If you have to win the football game by a field goal or 2 field goals, doing 3 yards and 4 yards in a cloud of dust with no pass plays, the most boring football game you ever saw, but you win. Would you rather do that, or would you rather have 2 or 3 big spectacular plays but then lose? And then have the person say, well, they didn't throw it to me enough. Quarterback just did not good enough. They didn't block right. And the defense just didn't do that. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. So, anyway, the whole concept of rhino confuses me now, because now all Trump supporters believe all Republicans, other than maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene and 1 or 2 others, are against, what they're looking for in a leader. I don't know how it's a pejorative anymore. So, anyway, I'll leave it there. Once again, thank you everyone for your patience. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for joining in the conversation. I very much appreciate that as well. Would love to have you over at the Patreon channel, where it's only $1. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, or it would make a big deal. The more people that sign up, it does. The larger group of people you have over there, at $1 a month, it's a bigger conversation. You have more input, and it gets shared more, and it has more of an influence. So, once again, God bless all of you. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.